she wound up dropping out of school. And after a little while, she made some new friends, but not the kind of kids that, if you were a parent, you would want your daughter to be hanging around with. I don't think her parents really knew what was happening, but she went to a party one night in 2001 where she met a guy who was 2 years older than her at the time, and his name was John Anderson. And they became a couple. Now, John Anderson was a member of a local gang called the Northwest Mafia. And he introduced her to his gang member friends. Seems there were 8 of them in the gang. And they ranged in age from about 16 to 32. And you will meet all of them at the end, or somewhere in the vicinity of the end. But this gang, these guys, they didn't do anything at all other than steal drugs, use drugs, sell drugs, drink, and play video games. That's it. Nobody had a job, nobody went to school. This is all they did. That's it. The leader was the 32-year-old. And his name was Yusef Jihad. Not that that really matters right now, but anyway, so John became very, very, very obsessed with Rachel. She liked him too, and she was being loyal to him, or I have no reason to believe she wasn't, but he was always jealous and nervous that she would cheat. Every time he saw her, he would sniff her hair and clothes to make sure he didn't smell like any, men's cologne or anything like that. And at some point in their relationship, he went away to prison for, I don't think too long, and I don't know exactly for what, but you could imagine it was probably drug related, although I don't know. And one day, Rachel's father got a phone bill for $600. sister Megan, Rachel did decide that she would end it. And she made a good friend in the gang named Maurice Rivas, and he was her same age. They were both about 18 at this time. They decided they would turn over a new leaf. She would return back to her normal self. They would both go back to high school and leave this whole gang behind. Now, the difference between the two of them was that Rachel came from a nice, supportive family that she could turn back to without a problem. But Maurice was a product of the foster care system. And this gang had really become his family, in all honesty. But they were going to help each other to improve their lives. Then John got out of prison. And for some reason, Rachel decided to get back with him. But it was an on-again, off-again thing. And from the looks of things, he might have been beating her because her sister saw bruises. And after a few ons and offs, she decided to break up permanently with John Anderson. And I don't know why. And noises coming from the duffel bag, so John hit it really hard with the back of his shovel. Then when they were done digging, they got her out of the bag. They asked her to remove her clothes and jewelry. She begged to keep on a special ring that was given to her by her dear friend Corey Haynes. But, of course, John said no way. He told her to get down into the grave face down. She began to pray, and he said, "Don't worry, you'll be there soon." And then he shot her several times in the back. His gun jammed, and he fixed it and shot some more. Then they filled in the grave and left. He tossed his gun into a pond on the way out. One of them took the clothing and jewelry and burned it. And that was it. He told them all in the car afterwards that loose ends would be cut off, meaning you better not speak of this or you and your family are dead, you know. So, Rachel's parents didn't think anything of it when she did not come home for a few days because she was involved in this, you know, messy gang type lifestyle. But by the third or fourth day, they became concerned and they reported her missing to the police, who started a full search. And the family, you know, reached out via, you know, the news. And it didn't take long until the mother of one of the boys from the gang, the one who owned the car that they drove, was some kind of small truck, like a small SUV, I believe. She reported him to the police. You know, she told the police that her son drives the car that this gang always uses. So I'm assuming that, you know, on the news and everything, it was mentioned that she was involved with this particular gang, the Northwest Mafia. So, you know, that mother probably heard that knowing my son is in that gang and he has the car, and I don't know what was going on in her life. You know, like, what made her want to report her son? You know, I'm glad she did. That's, you know, wonderful. Really helped the case. Without her, I don't know what would have happened, but, I'm thinking maybe she was miserable with her son and the gang, you know, maybe they were really scaring her, but that's just from me. So anyway, they went to him, and, they brought him in. And they said to him, "Listen, if you tell us everything, we'll go easy on you." So he spilled it. He told the entire story from beginning to end. He brought them to the grave. It still wasn't easy for them to find her, because you know how those things go. We couldn't find the exact spot. it's one thing when someone is murdered, quickly or unknowingly, attacked and killed in an instant. That's, really, really horrible as it is, but in this situation, she was attacked, she was tied up for hours in the garage, not knowing what was going to happen, then a long car ride inside a duffel bag, and then sitting with Maurice, thinking that he could help her, and he turns his back on her, and then watching your grave be dug, and then having to get into it is beyond belief. Just beyond comprehension that humans could treat each other like this. I mean, what can we learn from it? I mean, there has to be some takeaway, something to help humanity from this case. What is it? I mean, I'm gonna say, do not get involved with gangs. I mean, it sounds so easy for me to say that, so that's what's, maybe I shouldn't be saying that, because I guess people do it for various reasons. And my mother used to say